I do wish that they had more shades like Hourglass. You're never going to see this in a million years. But if you do, listen to the people. Give us a better shade range. And please understand that most of us are not orange. Okay? Hi, my name is Sunshine. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. We're going to compare two of the Hourglass Complexion products. I have the new Illusion Foundation and I have the original Veil Skin Tint. Now, these are both in shade 5. However, the shades are completely different. You will see that when I put them on my skin. You might even see it now because I do have them on now. I wanted to see how they compare, how the finish is, how they sit on the skin, what the wear time looks like, what the skin looks like at the end of the day, you know, all of that. And so I thought it would be a fun idea to kind of compare the two. The pricing is different. This one is very expensive. This is $58. I have been testing several new foundations. This is the most expensive one. This is even more than the Dior foundation that I've been testing. This is $49. I think when it first came out, it was $44. However, you know, everything is getting more expensive. This is still very expensive for a skin tint, but Hourglass products are on the higher end. I wouldn't say they're luxury, but they're like high end, I would say. I wanted to see how they would compare, maybe help you out, maybe save a few dollars if, you know, you think this would be more your cup of tea. We're going to get into it. We're going to get into the coverage, the finish, the wear, how they sit on the skin, how they blend out, how much you need of each product. We'll see which one comes out on top. We'll see if there is even a clear winner. They might be very evenly matched. We will find out. So let's get right into it. I'm going to do the Illusion in shade 5 on this side of my face, and I am going to do the Veil Skin Tint on this side of my face. They are both in shade 5. I'm going to show them to you because they do not match. They are not the same shade. You all have to ignore those lip liner swatches. I'm sorry. I tried to wipe them off, but they're stuck on there. The shades are not the same. Neither are the textures. Of course, they're not the same formula. Here are those two shades. The foundation is much thicker. The skin tint is much thinner. The shades are totally different. Foundation shade 5 is I would say a neutral warm. Skin tint is an orange. It's like a peachy orange. Not a perfect shade match for me. Even though the shades don't match, we're gonna make it work. I am going to apply this to one side of my face. Now this foundation is quite thick, doesn't spread great. I will say that the foundation doesn't seem to go far. I end up using more of it than I do with other products because it is so thick. That is the foundation blended out on one half of my face. That is, again, shade 5, which is a pretty perfect shade match for me when it first applies. The skin tint shade 5 is not a great shade match, but because it is so sheer, we'll make it work. I'm going to use a different sponge to blend this out. Although they are two totally different shades, it's not glaringly obvious. It might be to you, but to me, it's not. I think it will be even less so once I get everything else on. I'm going to put on some concealer real quick. I'm just going to use the Typology. This has just been my go-to. It's so easy, so pretty, and it seems to like go with whatever foundation that I'm wearing that day. I'm going to contour real quick with the Rare Beauty Love Pinch. Okay, so as you can see, that is not a contour, that is a bronzer, but it's beautiful. It blends out really well and I like it. It's just that is not a contour on me at all. That again is the shade Mellow. I'm going to do my brows real quick. Here's my Kulfi Brow Gel and my Glossier Boy Brow Arch Pencil and Cool Brown. Patrick Ta, she's Seductive Cream and Powder Blush. Absolutely beautiful. It's such a beautiful shade and it's like the first Patrick Ta blush that hasn't been too much on me where I feel silly wearing it or like my face is instantly overtaken by blush. This one is the lightest one of the new release, but it's still pretty intense. However, it blends out so well, it works. And I am very happy that I picked this shade. Now I am going to top it with the cream. It's not nearly as scary as it seems. Just dabbed in there just a couple of times, and I'll share that between sides. It just kind of gives it a bit more intensity and glow. It's not too much. It is pretty intense. And this is, again, the lightest shade. Kosas lip pencil and beyond. This is almost gone, and so I'm using it to use it up. These lip liners are fantastic. I'm going to use my Rose Ink Lip Cream in Dream to You. It's like a red on me without being an actual red. It just looks red on me. I'm gonna finish my eyebrows now because I didn't earlier when I said I was. Simple little eye look using my Viseart this palette. I still don't know how to pronounce that. I even Googled it and still could not figure it out because that spelling of the first word does not really show up anywhere. Forgive me for not being able to pronounce that. I'm gonna mix these two top shades. Just something super simple, but somewhat warm, just because the rest of the look is quite warm. Not that that always needs to be the case. You don't always have to like be monochromatic. I'm going to use this shade right here all over my eyelid. I have it on my finger. We're just going to see how that looks. That is super pretty. These shimmers are very thick and intense. If you have this palette, let me know how you're getting along with it. I really like it, but I have to be careful with it. I use just a small amount and spread it all over the lid, and I only use one shimmer color. I do not mix them. Line my lie. What? I'm going to line my eyes with my Lisa Eldridge Kitten eyeliner. That's about as good as it's going to get. This eyeliner is my favorite liquid eyeliner, pen eyeliner that I have ever tried. That's saying something. Mascara time. Creal, back of the cab mascara. This is a tubing mascara. Tubing mascaras are just my favorite. And this one has gotten even better since I first got it, which I know is often the case with mascaras. And this one is no exception. It still is not as good as my Tower 28. Nothing compares to that mascara for me. There are some that are really good. This one is really good. The Gucci is really good. The Sweet Beauty Cloud Mascara is really good. Iris and Romeo Peptide Mascara is really good. Now, it took me a while to get into that one and appreciate it, but after some time, it's really good. And I do feel like it has made a difference in the health of my lashes. The Tower 28, there's just something about that one. It's so fast and easy to use. You get the look that you want very quickly. Okay, so here is what we are working with today. I am going to leave this on. I'm going to do some check-ins. I'm going to try to get natural light, but when I tell you it is dark outside, like there is no sun to speak of. I do not like gloomy days like this, but what are you going to do? We're going to try to get through it. I will try to do some, like I said, try to do some natural light check-ins. Worst case scenario, I come back in here and I do some studio light check-ins. We're going to see how both of these wear and what they look like at the end of the day. I'm very curious to see which one I like best. This is not my first time wearing either of these. I do have a full review on my channel of the new Hourglass Illusion Foundation. I was just curious to see how they compared to each other. So I'm going to do a wear test and see like head to head how they look. I know how they perform individually, and I think I already have my thoughts together on them, but I just wanted to see, and I wanted you to see in case you're deciding between these two. Okay, so I just looked at these in my 10 times magnification mirror. My makeup has been on probably, I don't know, 45 minutes or so. I'm just saying, counting all the time that it took for me to do everything else. At very, very close inspection, the only differences that I'm seeing right now, this one is visible on the skin barely. I mean, barely. And it is settling barely in my smile lines, just very lightly. This one is not visible on the skin, and it is not settling in my smile lines at all whatsoever. I just looked at the pores to see if there's a difference, and I really don't see one. I don't see that either of them is particularly disguising the look of pores, but I don't think that either of them are enhancing the look of them. All in all, they both look great, right? The difference right now is that this one you can see and it is doing some settling. This one you cannot see and it is not settling. But this one is covering more. Not a lot more though. I think that when this one first goes on, It does cover more initially, but I feel like when this one sets, it kind of gives you a more perfected appearance. My initial thoughts are I prefer this skin tint to the foundation because this one just has a nicer, more imperceptible finish on the skin. This one is not bad by any means. It's just when you look at them side by side, like this one, you can't see, it doesn't settle. It's really, really pretty. This one has chemical sunscreens that I believe that I am sensitive to just because when I wore this and tested it, I did get a couple of spots. Those spots have since cleared up since I stopped wearing it. I will come back and we'll do a check-in. See you then. I'm here with my 4-hour check-in. This is, natural-ish light. It is very, very, very overcast and gloomy today, so there's not really any sunlight to speak of. The coverage is still there, like everything still looks really nice. The pores are still covered. It hasn't really broken up. I did reapply my lipstick because I ate lunch, so I touched that up. Everything else looks, it's wearing, both of them are wearing really well. It's just, I kind of feel like this side is glowier. Can you tell that I'm wearing two different shades? I guess you can. I guess when when I point it out and look at it, I guess you can actually see that there are two different shades. This side does look brighter than this side. But anyway, wearing great. I'll see you guys in a few more hours. So it has been 8 hours. We are here to wrap up this foundation wear test. I've got the Illusion foundation on this side and the Veil Skin Tint on this side. Both are shade 5, but they are very different shades. So first things first, I did run some errands. I wore sunglasses, and you can see on this side where the foundation kind of gathered up because of my sunglasses. I'm just going to see if I can tap that out on both sides. Usually I can, like when I wear sunglasses, this is just kind of a thing that happens. And yeah, that I tapped it right out. I have not touched up my face at all otherwise. I did put on some of the Typology lip oil in Ruby Red because my lipstick had completely disappeared. I have had lunch and dinner and drink from a straw, all of that stuff. So my lip product was completely gone. So I do have on that lip oil. As you can see, the blush and contour are still there on both sides. That has worn beautifully. The foundation on both sides of my face has worn really, really well. There aren't really many signs of wear. I will say on the foundation side, it is just very slightly breaking up on my chin. In this area, just very slightly breaking up in this area and not on the skin tint side. This area for a lot of foundations is what shows the most wear. Everywhere else on the face, they both look fantastic. The skin tint side has not settled in my smile lines, which is amazing for having worn it this long. I don't really see a difference in the pores on either side of my face, and it almost seems like the shades, hopefully it's translating there, but in person, it looks like the shades are the same. I'm really not seeing the shade difference now that they've been on several hours. They both look great. I have used both of these products individually. I haven't ever put them head to head, side by side. I just wanted to see how they compare. Here's what I'm going to say about the foundation versus the skin tint. If you want more coverage, this does have more coverage. This isn't full coverage and this isn't sheer. This is light, this is medium. They both wear very well. Neither of them accentuate pores. They're both pretty smooth looking on the face. This one does not settle at all into lines or pores or texture. This one settles just the slightest bit, but it still looks very nice. I'm not shiny. I don't have any oils coming through on either side. Neither of them are drying up or cracking or looking cakey. This one is a little bit less expensive. This one is more. The shade selection is not as good in the skin tint. Shade selection in the foundation is better, but still not great. I am going to say for me personally, I prefer the skin tint. I just think it is smoother on the skin. It's more seamless. It's more skin-like and it wears better overall, in my opinion. This one wears great. It's beautiful. If you like more coverage, want the sunscreen, maybe for summer, this would be a better one. I prefer the Veil Skin Tint. I've just always loved this formula. I think it's beautiful. I do wish the shade range were better. Like I wish they had this color in this formula, but they don't. All of the shades in the skin tint are very orangey, peachy, pinky. There aren't really any neutral warm shades. The Veil Skin Tint is my pick, but this is a very nice product too, and I suggest it for anybody that is looking for more coverage than this one. If you can't find a shade in there, you might be able to find a shade in this line. They don't have a huge shade range, but it is bigger than the skin tint. Skin tint is less expensive. You get the same amount of product in each. The bottle for the foundation is slightly taller. I just wanted to mention that. They're not like identical in size. The caps are very, very similar, except the cap for the skin tint is a little more orangey yellow. I'm just mentioning it. I don't know why. The shades do not match up from one line to the next. These are both shade 5 and they are very, very, very different shades. They are both beautiful. They both work for me despite them being so different. This is a little bit thicker. It's a little more important to have a perfect shade match in this one because it is thicker, heavier coverage. It does sit more heavily on the skin. Not heavy, but more heavily than this one. So I hope that that helped. That is going to wrap up this wear test. They both wear beautifully. They really, really do. I don't think that you can go wrong with either one. It's just what is more important to you, coverage or seamlessness. That's what I would say. Price is also a factor. This one is less expensive. That wraps up this wear test. I hope to see you guys again in another video. I will be back soon with more foundation reviews, more content. Thank you. I'll see you next time. Have a good night, everybody. I'm going to go watch some New Girl and laugh. I will see you in my next video.